Fight for your right.
Speak up.
Speak out. We're union and we're proud.
Go Union.
Visit Activate.
Welcome to Activate. I'm Tanya Hutchins, and happy Independence Day. We celebrate the founding of the United States of America July 4th, about 2 months after the founding of the Machinists Union, May 5th. Joining us now is a very special guest, our International President, Bob Martinez. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be with you.
Now, we are celebrating Independence Day, and we also celebrate our union that was founded 130 years ago. What do you think about when you think about the founding of our union all that time ago?
Well, first of all, I want to extend my very best to all of our members and their families on this Independence Day, July the 4th. I think about the sacrifice of all of the original founders of our great union and everything they went through to form our great union. Now 130 years old, and us thriving now after 130 years. I couldn't think that they ever had anything in mind of where we are and what we're doing today. So I am so thankful to our founders of our great union and all the great leadership that followed them on their heels.
Now, when you were sworn in as the 14th International President, what commitment did you make to the Executive Council?
Well, obviously, I made a lot of commitments. First and foremost, my commitment, as well as the Executive Council's, was to put the fight back into the fighting machinists. I believe we're doing that. We're making the turn. I made a commitment that this union would speak with one voice, one union, stronger than ever, and I believe we're headed in the right direction.
Now, there's a quote that you say a lot, and I have it here. It says, from Frederick Douglass, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress." What does that mean to you?
Well, obviously the great struggles that we've been through in the past, where we persevered and moved forward, and the current struggles, for example, from a political standpoint, that we're going through today. We have major landmark cases that are in front of us, and we'll go through this struggle. At the end of the day, we will persevere, though.
Because we're fighters, aren't we?
We're the fighting machinists.
Now, we have many members who are standing up to employers for fair treatment. So what are some of the bargaining units that come to mind when you think about those fighting machinists out there that are standing up to employers?
You know, I see today a more aggressive, a more confident, a more prepared membership. And they are standing up to these employers who want to go into concessionary bargaining or not give them what they need to survive today. The first one that comes to mind is the local 701 auto mechanics and technicians. And what they did, they stood up to 34 dealerships, took them on for 8 weeks, and changed the way auto mechanics are being paid from this day forward. They increase their wages and a better way of life for all mechanics, not just union machinist auto mechanics, but all auto mechanics across North America.
So they really showed that there's power in numbers, not just strength in numbers.
That was last year. This year, the most recent, United Launch Alliance, where they took on from Vandenberg to Cape Canaveral. They took this employer on who wanted to make unilateral changes in the way, for example, they were stationed on one coast to the other and had them assigned out to a location unilaterally without them having any say in the matter whatsoever for an extended period of time. Our members stood up, fought that and other benefits, and they won. So this confidence in our membership and our leadership, it's growing, and I'm proud to see it happen.
We are too. So are the members. You changed the way that we organized when you came on. How is it going this year compared to last year?
It's a good question. You know, this executive council, myself, we made a decision that the old Blitz program was not working. It was dead on arrival in our organizing campaigns. And what was happening is companies that we were trying to organize through their anti-union consultants or themselves, knew what our next step was before we went in to organize. So they would warn people with their anti-union propaganda, and we decided, hey, this is not working. They know our game plan. We've got to change. It's time to change. So we changed our organizing program, implemented a new organizing program. Each territory came through the harbor, created their own strategic plan for their territory, and we're aggressively organizing better than we have in decades. As a matter of fact, we had our best net win-loss ratio last year, better than the last 21 years. And this year, as far as the organizing program is concerned, in April, we had already surpassed all that we had done in 2017.
And that's incredible because we're not even done with this year yet.
And now, this last month, it's my understanding that we gained another net 4,000 members. So we are growing. However, you know, we have other issues that we're combating. So we're not going to sit on our laurels with these new organizing wins and these new members that we have. We have to double down and get more aggressive. Organizing has to become part of our culture in the IAM. And I see that happening in our territories. And I'm very encouraged by that.
We have several campaigns at airlines like Delta and JetBlue. What do you want our potential members to know?
I want them to know that they got a union that's going to fight for them. I want them to know that we're going to aggressively pursue them on both fronts, both JetBlue and Delta, and that at the end of the day, we will prevail. They have to stick together and take this employer on.
We're fighting to protect jobs as well, and I know there's a wave of companies that are starting to shut down plants. So what is your message to workers that have either already been laid off or they may be vulnerable to these companies that are shipping jobs overseas?
You know, we made a commitment to each and every one of these units that we will do everything for them that we can. First of all, we're going to fight for them and fight the decision by the employer to unilaterally close their plants down, to either move them to Mexico or offshore, or to move them to the south. We're going to, again, engage the company. We're going to go out and try to find them a job if they want a job in another location. And we're doing just that on every front. So we have communications, the communications department and our political department working with the different locals and the leaders in those locals to try to beat those initial decisions back and get every benefit that we can for our membership going forward. We will never turn a cheek on our members just because they may be leaving our union at this time. So I'm very upset about the matter, in every location as far as that goes, because what these companies are doing is they're turning their backs on our membership and the communities in which they come from and that have made them prosperous, made them money. These greedy corporations are turning their backs on their employees and again, either moving offshore or moving to the south.
You know, you said as long as you're president, you are going to expose any company that hurts our membership. Why is it so important to do the right thing, even if it opens us up to criticism?
Well, we're certainly not shy on the criticism end. Take for example, Harley Davidson or Siemens or any other company. I think that it's only proper that I personally call them out publicly to make sure that they understand that this union is not going to turn its back on on our members, its employees, and challenge them of what their decision making and why they're moving these plants, closing these plants down. You know, Harley, an American icon, moving work, moving people offshore. I have a problem with that. Closing these factories and turning their backs on their employees. I got a real problem with Harley Davidson right now.
You know, I've always heard you say that, you know, you have to stand up for what's right, and that means no more outsourcing when it comes to trade. You know, how does that make you feel when you see this work not only being sent to other countries, but then sent to countries that don't enforce human rights.
Well, this is something that I personally said to the President of the United States when I met with President Trump. You know, these are the campaign items that you ran on. Bring work back to America. Stop offshoring of work. You know, and I haven't seen that. What I've seen is a record amount of plant closures for the IAM that we represent, which stands at 15 today. So we're fighting over 15 plant closures as we speak. So when are we going to stop offshoring work? When are we going to start bringing work back? When are these incentives going to be put in by the President of the United States and the Congress to stop this?
Well, we want to know as well, so we're glad you're pushing him on that. I know we have so many different members, different ages, different backgrounds. We have many retired members. Many of them are activists. What do you want them to know when it comes to their pensions that they've been relying on for years?
I want them to know that this president, your international president, this union, this executive council will fight all the way to the end for you. I believe that no retired person, especially an IAM member, who has sacrificed so much through their career, through negotiations, giving up wages and other benefits to have their pensions fully funded, that a multi-employer plan can, by way of trustees of that pension plan, unilaterally change what their pension benefit's going to be. In other words, I am going to fight against these employers who want to cut a person's pension who's already retired.
That's ridiculous.
It is. And this executive council, our leadership, is extremely upset with that. So you'll remember that I joined Bernie Sanders with regard to this Keep Our Pension Promises Act to move that forward. And I'm going to continue to pursue that. Now, with regard to these unfunded pension plans in this Senate Select Committee on Pensions, we're monitoring that very close. I've had several conversations with Senator Brown, Sherrod Brown, and we're going to continue to push the envelope and try to get some relief with regard to these pensions.
Now, on the other side of the spectrum, we have young people, our next generation, and they're already hard at work on, in our shops, on our future. What do you think of the young machinists and the power that they have to create a better future for all of us?
Well, I think we have some of these employers that have demonstrated or tried to implement, and in a lot of cases, implemented two-tier wage systems, two-tier benefit systems, those that have and those that have not. I believe what's going to happen as old-timers like myself start to retire, our young members, our young machinists are going to take a hold of their contract, and they're going to force the envelope and take these employers on who have tried to implement, and in some cases implemented, two-tier benefits. That's going to happen. That generational turnover is happening right now. And the young machinists are going to be the ones that are going to end up taking this employer on again over the same benefits that they messed them around with to begin with.
Well, we can already tell by all these protests we've seen across the country that I think the young machinists have that fight in them.
Indeed, and I look forward to working with them and listening to them. We want to do things like implement mentoring programs in this union for our younger machinists and help provide training, get them a better labor education as they move into the leadership ranks of our great union.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by. Is there anything else that you'd like our membership to know?
I'd like our membership to know that we're doing well. Our union is doing well right now, and I want them to stay strong, stay plugged in, and keep the confidence. We're growing.
And keep fighting.
Keep fighting.
Okay, thanks so much for
Very
stopping
good.
by and taking the time.
Absolutely.
And thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful 4th of July and join us next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific for another episode. And that time it'll be Activate Live.